will definitely be on top of this case. He's going to get sentenced on June 13th, but within the next week or two, both the defense, no, actually the prosecution is going to submit their sentencing memorandum, which will basically outline what they want the judge to sentence. Then after they submit their memorandum, the defense is going to respond with theirs, and then the prosecution's got to make a decision if they're going to seek restitution in this case. Can you help us understand what restitution means for all of those out there that are tapping in?
Basically, restitution is a fine that you're going to pay for the crime. So many different variations of restitution. I remember back in the day, I had to receive stolen property. I bought a stolen car from somebody and got caught with it. So they wanted me to make restitutions to the car owner in order to pay back for the stuff I took off their car, and in this situation, restitution can be anywhere from all the hospital fine bills, emotional stress, therapist, in this case, it could add up. They could, add up to millions of dollars or at least $1 million. So, depending on what she went through to, like I said, if she saw any therapist or she saw how many doctors or any specialists and things of that nature, she would want to recoup her money, or and that's what basically the restitution would be, him paying her back for any money that she spent, and or emotional damage.
The judge asked the prosecutor, are you going to be seeking restitution? And the prosecutor said, I'm not sure yet. Let me get back to you on that. So after hearing what you just said, I guess that means the prosecutor is going to get in touch with Megan Thee Stallion and say, hey, how much did all your expenses, surgery, and we're going to hit him with whatever it cost. And man, that could easily be hundreds of thousands, if not, as you said, maybe. I think $1 million might be a stretch, but
right. Me too. Yeah, but still,
in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, they're going to put the extras on it, and at the end of the day, that may not be the problem for him. The problem would be the millions that you're not going to be making while you're sitting in the jail cell. See, that's the thing about celebrities, Alex. When they get caught, it's not just so much that you have to go sit down for a year. It's the money that you're missing when you go sit down for a year, because if they give you a significant amount of years, everybody can't come back out and make a hit record after you come back out of jail. You know what I mean? Or something can happen in jail where you got punched in the throat or something, and you can't even make music no more. You know what I mean? So, so many variations of that, man. So it ain't just the time. That's why they would rather pay the fine, or that's why he said, allegedly, I'll give you $1 million if you say this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? Because he know of all the money he would be missing out on, by sitting in prison.
Yeah, a lot of people had asked me the other day when I went live, does this mean the end of Tory Lanez career? He's 30 years old, so it all depends on how many years the judge gives him on June 13th, whether he can bounce back and jump right into music. What do you think's how many years is it risking his career that he gets sent to prison? What I'm asking is, what's the minimum sentence you think he can do where we can get back out and still be relevant?
You know what? It all depends, because sometimes, unfortunately, people don't like to hear the real, but unfortunately, this could boost his whole, it could boost his career. You know what I mean? He come home, all the Tory fans, you got to put something out, we love you, and he go do it, and they just buy it anyway. You know what I mean? But it really depends on how talented you are at the end of the day, man. Some of these dudes can go sit down. I know a lot of people haven't heard of Garth Brooks, but he stopped entertaining when his daughters was about 6 years old, I believe. Said he wasn't going to perform again and make no more music until they graduated high school. And he did just that, made an album soon as they graduated high school, and it stole hundreds of so some people can do it, some people can't, so it all depends on how talented he is and who's willing to work with him when he come home. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, but he's 30, so the closer you get to that 40 years old, if you ain't really popping like Jay-Z, Snoop, it's hard to stay relevant after 40 years old as a hip hop artist.
You're right.
If he's gonna sit down for like 3 or 4 years, he'll come back. If he's only sits down for 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years, comes back when he's 34 years old, 35, he's talented enough to jump right back in there. But if this judge gives him a 10-piece, man, I think it's very difficult to come back into this music. You know how different the music is going to be in 10 years from now.
But is he just a hip hop artist? Don't he do a little producing and things of that nature? You know what I mean? So it all depends on if he's just a hip hop artist, then you're absolutely right. You know, that could easily fade away. You got these young cats already coming through the game, taking over with the different sounds. So yeah, you absolutely right. But if he, was doing some producing, or he was doing some management, or he was doing some, he's going to find a way to come back in the game some kind of way, even as a manager, even as a, you know what I mean? So he gonna find something to do.
Yeah, one more thing I want to add before we wrap this up. The prosecution is going to have impact statements that are going to be presented at sentencing on June 13th, and they're anticipating it's going to come from Megan. The whole question is she just going to do? There's three ways she can do her impact statement. She could write it, submit it to the court, and then they read it. She could do a video and submit that to the court, or she can show up like she did for trial and do an impact statement. I think it's highly unlikely that she would actually show up in court. But if this was a Cardi B case, Cardi B is coming back, because Cardi B is relentless. When she's on top of this civil case where this girl was saying negative things about her, and she's seizing everything from her $50, $600, $100. But I don't know if Megan is as petty as Cardi B. Do you think Megan would actually come back to court and give an incredible victim impact statement?
You know what? She just might. She didn't already did what she did, man. And those impact statements really hurt. You know what I mean? Especially when somebody come and do it in person. You know what I mean? If she did it via video, or she did it via phone call or something like that, that's one thing. But if she make it back in person and she get up there and she put on that, I can't call it the act, but I have seen her get super dramatic, and she get up there and get to crying and doing all that, he shot me. And, man, that's going to pull on some heartstrings somewhere, and so that those statements, man, hurt, they really do, opposed to her not even showing up and just saying, I'm done with it, whatever gonna happen to him gonna happen to him. So definitely we gonna see if she show up, and I think that'll hurt him more than anything.
Okay, Charles and Jazz ask, can the witnesses that came to testify for the retrial hearing come for the sentencing to help lighten the sentence? And I would say no, because there were three witnesses that Jose Baez wanted to put on during the hearing the other day: a DNA expert, a creative artist expert, and another one that was for the motion for the new trial. So that has nothing to do with sentencing. So we won't see those witnesses. But Jose Baez can bring character witnesses, like maybe his dad. His dad could address the court. Or anyone that family related. The only type of people I think that Tory would bring are character references and people to say how important he is to the family. Other than that, there's really no one else that he can bring to court.
No doubt, like you say, somebody from the family to say how remorseful he's been since he's been, locked up and things of that nature, man. So, but like I said, at the end of the day, don't forget you're gonna have Meg's statement if she come do one, and that's gonna outweigh a whole lot of his character, you know what I mean, so
man, if she shows up in court in person, boy, that's
gonna be ugly. Yeah, you got another question up there. Can Megan and Kelsey be charged with anything? I don't think so. They weren't on trial. They wasn't charged with anything in the beginning. A lot of people say Megan lied a lot. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, I didn't watch every, nook and cranny of it, so I can't say what she lied about or what she told the truth about, but it wasn't about her. She was the victim in this case. Even if she lied, they're not going to double back and try to hit her with a false accusations or nothing of that nature. And Kelsey, I think she just going to slip through the cracks, even though I believe she lied too. But other than that, I don't think they could be charged with anything. Yeah, what you think, Alan?
Well, Megan definitely can't be charged with anything. She didn't do anything illegal, and the lies that she told in court didn't reach the standard of perjury. Her lies didn't change the jury's verdict. In fact, when you read the 80-page motion that Jose Baez filed, none of Megan's lies was even addressed because they were inconsequential lies.
Right.
And so, but Kelsey, the only way Kelsey could be charged is if you could prove she shot. If she's the shooter.
Yeah. That's a whole different something else. But yeah, that's That's unlikely that'll
Yeah.
be done. If it haven't been done by now, it's not gonna happen.
No, and the only way to get to the truth of that is if Jaquan, the driver, testified, and for whatever reason, the defense decided not to put him on when he did come to court. I'm not sure if he came late, but they could have put Jaquan. Here's another important thing. If Tory wasn't the shooter and Kelsey was the shooter, don't you think Tory would have been calling his security? Jaquan,
Shit.
you need to come to
A1
court.
would. Hell yeah.
And Jaquan did not provide any information regarding that.